I was ready to call it a night until I read this article, and it just prompted me to have to give my thoughts on this before I go to bed because Kevin Nash truly is a piece of shit. This guy had the audacity, the fucking audacity to make comments that I'm going to read to you. I'm going to give the link to the article, basically, of what he said. And it's about his opinion of former world champions and what he thought was the end of the wrestling business, the death of the wrestling business. So here's what he said, and I quote, "When Benoit and Guerrero hugged at the end of WrestleMania 20, that was the end of the business." Nash goes on and says, "Has business been the same since WrestleMania? Question mark. Has it come close to the Austin era? Question mark. Has it come close to the NWO or the Hogan era? Question mark. You put two fucking guys that were great workers that were the same height as the fucking referees. And I'm sorry, man, are you going to watch a porno movie with a guy with a 3-inch dick? Question mark. Even if you're not gay, you will not watch a porno movie with a guy with a 3-inch dick. That's not the standard in porno films. So you put a 5'7" guy as your world champion." And I mean, he just goes on to say the stupidest shit. He even talks about Punk and Daniel Bryan, and he goes and says, "They are not bigger than life. I bet they could both walk through airports and not be noticed unless they have a gimmick shirt on and the belt." And it's like, this guy, Kevin Nash, has had nothing but been handed him shit throughout his whole wrestling career. This guy has never truly earned anything in the wrestling industry. When he first was in WCW as like Vinny Vegas and some other bullshit gimmick, he was a nothing. He was a fucking nobody. He comes to the WWF, becomes Shawn Michaels' bodyguard. Shawn is real in with Vince. And, I guess Shawn gives him the rub and puts it in Vince's ear that maybe this guy is worth money. And so they turn Nash face to this like big baby face because, after all, he's been handed the World Heavyweight Champion when he beat Bob Backlund in like a house show in like 6-7 seconds. Yeah, really good way to win a world title. He basically got handed a title because of his look, because of his height. And this man has no appreciation of the business because he's all about image. He's going to have to work really hard to get a title. I mean, I will give him this. Yes, he was the WWF Heavyweight Champion and the WCW Heavyweight Champion. Most wrestlers dreamed of being in those positions, but they weren't because Nash had the look, the height, and the backstage politics to back it up. So guys like Benoit and Guerrero that freaking fought hard, bust their ass all throughout the world to get a fucking chance. And when they fucking finally won the heavyweight title in WWE, it was a momentous occasion. When they hugged and embraced in the ring as World Heavyweight Champions, that was something that was a phenomenal moment because you knew those guys truly deserved what they had, what they were given, because they worked hard for it. And you have pieces of shit like Kevin Nash, who fucking doesn't understand wrestling business at all. And yeah, he knows, well, for one thing, he's not going to get two shits what I have to say, or what other people got to say, because we're not in the wrestling industry. But in his mind, since he has such a big fucking ego, he was a booker, did a shitty job, by the way, in WCW, and he did all these other things. And mind you, remember his comeback to WWE when he came in and completely ruined that whole fucking storyline with Punk and couldn't even fucking wrestle because he was hurt. And then Triple H, got a good match out of him, basically. And, Nash, we all know, has never been the best worker. Even when he was the heavyweight champion in WWF and he fought Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 11, they had the main event. Shawn Michaels, who can work well with anyone, who can make anyone look good, could not make Kevin Nash look good in that match. It was a horrible main event. Even the ending when Kevin Nash powerbombed Shawn Michaels bumped so bad he landed on his ass. It was a horrible fucking match. So, and then on that note, we all know, wrestling fans all know, when Nash had the title in '95, it was one of the low points in the WWF. The buy rates were down. The ratings were down. It was a shitty time in the WWF, and that was Kevin Nash's standard. He was the guy, the face of the company, and whether he wants to believe it or not, he did a horrible fucking job, but you know he won't think that because of his ego. I am just appalled by his comments. These statements are so fucking atrocious. This man is just fucking ridiculous. I mean, I just cannot believe he would say shit like this. I mean, guys like him is why people like Ricky Steamboat was never the heavyweight champion in WWF, or Mr. Perfect, or Ravishing Rick Rude, or Rick Martel, or like these like guys because of their height, because they weren't seen as these big monster types, these guys that were like larger than life characters that they was supposed to be like the sellers and they could like promote a company. They were never given a chance because of guys like Kevin Nash that had that attitude that only big bodybuilders and big 7-footers can represent your company as the heavyweight champion. And to this day, you know, there's a lot of guys in the wrestling industry that still believes in stuff like that. But when Vince McMahon finally came to his fucking senses and gave the heavyweight title to Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit, it was a big deal. So for Kevin Nash to not understand that and to think that the wrestling business died when they became heavyweight champion, it just shows you how pathetic of a human being Kevin Nash is. And that's what I'm going to say for now. I'm out of here. Talk amongst yourselves and give me your opinions on what you think about this piece of shit. Later.